Noi vediamo come il tempo in cui viviamo continua ad essere segnato da una dimensione.
We see that in the era in which we live continues to be marked by forgetting and being deaf to God.
Penso allora che dobbiamo imparare.
I think, therefore, that we should learn the simplest and most fundamental lesson of the Council,
Cioè che il cristianesimo nella sua essenza
namely, that Christianity in its essence consists of faith in God, which is Trinitarian love,
e che invece quando manca la fede in Dio,
and when, instead, man lacks faith in God, the essential collapses because man loses his profound dignity and what makes his humanity great enough to withstand any form of reductionism.
so ogni riduzionismo.
Pope Benedict XVI, who died in 2022, always emphasized throughout his life that the Christian faith is the best foundation for human dignity. In his message for World Peace Day 2011, for example, he said the sincere search for God has led to greater respect for human dignity. In order to preserve this concern of the late Pope, the Ratzinger-Schülerkreis and the new Schülerkreis organized a theological conference on this topic in Rome on September the 27th, 2025.
In diesem Jahr geht es die Herausforderungen.
At our conference, we focus on the challenges posed by the view of humanity in today's society, with keywords such as transhumanism, artificial intelligence, and the so-called gender theory. These are very big challenges. We confront them with the Christian view of humanity, as developed primarily by Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger and Pope Benedict, based on the biblical writings and the tradition of the Church.
Schriften und der Tradition der Kirche.
Cardinal Kurt Koch, a companion and close friend of the late German Pope, points out that Ratzinger recognized the signs of the times early on.
Hat sehr viele Probleme.
He foresaw many problems we have today. For example, back in the 1970s, he wrote, "The battle for humanity is being fought today through the battle for the family." That was very prophetic. That is exactly what happened.
Hat sich auch so bestätigt.
Professorin Hanna-Barbara Gell-Falkowitz.
I was invited to speak about statements made by Pope Benedict and also when he was Cardinal Ratzinger, who already in the 1990s reflected about the human body and also the difficult topic of gender. For example, the question, is my gender identical to my biological sex? Or can I choose my gender? Ratzinger had actually already been thinking about this in the 1990s, also on behalf of John Paul II.
Und hat darauf hingewiesen und sehr schön differenziert.
And he pointed out in a very nuanced way that human nature in this sense also includes freedom, whereas the concept of autonomy that we have today is a rather limited view of freedom. Autonomy means I determine myself, but that is, of course, a very narrow approach. Joseph Ratzinger and later Pope Benedict beautifully highlight the tension between what is given to me as a gift and what I then do with it, become, develop.
Tue, werde, entfalte.
Darf ich auch in diesem Jahr
In addition to Cardinal Kurt Koch and religious philosopher Hanna-Barbara Gell-Falkowitz, Professor Stefanos Athanasiou, Vincent Tuomi, Stefan Kompowski, Rolf Weimann, and Christoph Ohly also spoke at the event. For Professor Ohly, who heads the new Schülerkreis, it's not surprising that Pope Benedict XVI's theology continues to inspire people today.
Ich glaube, dass es letztlich darauf ankommt,
Ratzinger's theology is a theology that is entirely in line with the faith of the Church, but which is devoted with all the sharpness and power of reason. Faith and reason form the basis for all those areas of philosophy and theology to which he devoted himself in thoughts, and this at a very high, very deep level. So it is really a challenge to confront these ideas and at the same time to be repeatedly surprised by how simply he formulates them. It is true what he said once during his trip to Germany. Faith is simple. We must not complicate it, even if it encompasses many dimensions that we can almost never grasp or fathom.
Dimensionen umfasst, die wir fast nie ergreifen, nie ausloten können.
Denn Adam, der erste Mensch, war das Vorausbild.
Weil tiefe Antworten gibt.
Ratzinger gives profound answers, but from a place of faith, and in a simple way. He can describe and present highly complex topics very simply. I believe that speaks directly from heart to heart, from mind to mind.
Herz zu Herz, von Kopf zu Kopf.